Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Logical Nonsense Podcast. Today we have Colson Yankoff on, a legend from Coeur d'Alene High School, legend in the UCLA, and now a member of the Washington Commanders. Colson, how are you doing today?
I'm great, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited to have you on. Long anticipated. But let's have you do a little bit better introduction than I just did. I mean, obviously you are a legend, but yeah, let's hear
Stop it.
it.
Yeah, I'm Colson. Good to meet everybody. Yeah, man. I mean, sports podcast, right? So I'll give my small sports background. I grew up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Obviously, played football there. Played quarterback in high school. Had a ton of fun. Played on a good team. Ended up getting recruited out of there, which was awesome. And went to the University of Washington for a year. Played quarterback there, redshirted, then ended up going to UCLA, where I spent like I don't know, 5 years after that. It was a
Yeah,
while,
yeah.
good amount of college. Yeah, man. Did that, living in LA, did that whole thing, and um, made my way out to Virginia, playing for the Commanders now. Rookie season in the books, living out in here in San Diego in the off season, just enjoying life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Excited to hear it, and no one deserves success more than you. So, let's
Oh,
start
thanks,
with
man.
how you got started into football. What got you throwing the ball around?
Yeah, my dad, short answer. So
Yep.
my pops played football, played quarterback at Brown University.
Yep.
Not an institution known for their football, but he did it. So he could sling it a little bit. I grew up playing, soccer and t-ball, whatever the youth sports are. And when it came time to like strap pads on, my dad threw me out there and said, "You're going to play quarterback." And I wanted to, for sure. Kind of wanted to, do the
Yep.
old following dad's footsteps thing. I think he enjoyed the coaching aspect of that.
Yeah.
Um, that was it, man. I really enjoyed it. The rest is history.
Definitely. Definitely. And talk about your high school experience a little bit. What was that like playing for Coeur d'Alene? Obviously, a lot of success there. I was a part of. I suited up for that senior year. I believe your senior year when we got second. But yeah, talk about your high school experience.
Yeah, man, it was so awesome. We had such a good group of guys, an awesome coaching staff. Nelson, Amos, those guys were the best, man. So just a lot of fun. Like I think all that came after that was just total blessing, like just something like, wow, this is sick that this could actually be like what I do, or even could get me into college, right? I just started out as playing with your buddies, and yeah, man, as you know, we had a fun team going. Should have won state, maybe
Yeah.
got close.
Yep.
But man, that's some of my best memories are playing ball with the boys in high school.
What do you think in high school helped prepare you for college ball and even professional football?
That's a good question. I think part of it is you can only prepare so much, right? Like you gotta do it to learn what stuff's really gonna entail. But I think just learning to ask good questions, man. Like seeking good counsel from people that you know have either done it themselves. Like
Hmm.
Gunnar Amos was a good one for me, or people like his dad, Sean Amos, right? Like guys that have seen the process before and can give you some insight into what to expect and how to carry yourself and things like that. And then just try to live it.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's talk about that recruiting process coming out of high school. Originally, you were committed to Oregon, switched your commit to the University of Washington. What ultimately led you to switch that commitment, and what did that process kind of look like for you?
Yeah, the recruiting process was crazy. I mean, you know this, you were at Coeur d'Alene, like
Yeah.
just kind of a funny thing to have, coaches there and that be a deal. It felt kind of awkward. And candidly, I didn't really like the recruiting process. It felt really, I don't know, like everyone just wants to roll out the red carpet and tell you
Yeah.
cool stuff, which it
Yeah.
is cool to a point, and then it's just
Yeah.
like I don't really know what to think, right? It just got stressful.
Yep.
Who's telling the truth or what's the best? Like I had no idea.
Yeah. Who has your best interest?
Totally, man. I mean, you're a 16, 17-year-old kid getting talked to by all these people. You're like, I don't know what's going on, right? Like, I'm just stoked to be here. But yeah, man, I committed to Oregon. That was kind of my first real big offer. I was like, oh, dang, like that is a sick school. Always wanted to go there.
Yeah.
Really cool staff. It was Helfrich and Yost was like the quarterbacks coach. Just awesome people, really meshed with them, and obviously Oregon was a sick school.
Yep.
So that kind of seemed like a no-brainer. And then Health got fired.
Yep.
Um, and with that, like the whole regime changed, and I just never really meshed or got to know the new staff, and I don't know that there was mutual interest there, which was totally fine. Just figured it'd be best to kind of pull my commitment, my verbal, see what else was out there. Obviously, ended up committing to Washington after that for similar reasons. Like, really loved the school. Thought I wanted to be an engineer out of high school, so figured that'd be a good place to look into that. And yeah, Coach Smith was the guy there that like I really loved and clicked with. That was that.
How quickly after you pulled your commit from Oregon were you getting offers or connected with or phone calls?
That's a good question. Full transparency was a while ago, so I don't remember the exact like
Yeah, yeah,
timeline of stuff.
yeah, yeah,
But I will say like Oregon was one. Like I had a few offers. Right, like Texas Tech was my first one. That was a big one, and then some
yep,
other maybe not so big ones.
yep.
Thought Oregon was super sick, and then after that, when I reopened everything, I got a lot more. And obviously, I committed to Oregon early. I don't even remember when, like going into junior year, maybe.
Yeah,
So I was like a sophomore, and so that was early, anyways. So a lot of my interest or whatever came later, anyways.
I gotcha. Okay. So you go to Washington. Describe what that first year was like, and what were some of the biggest shocks going from high school football to college football?
Yeah, don't let me be too long-winded here. You can cut me off if I'm being
No,
too
no,
specific
wait,
on anything.
this is yeah. I mean, full reign. We have as much as time as you have. So
Fair enough, brother. So I did the whole kind of graduate early thing,
yep,
which I don't even know if that's still something that a lot of guys do or not. But when I was coming out, it was a popular thing for quarterbacks to do.
yep,
So you leave a semester early from high school, get to college a semester early. So I got to college at 17 years old, like
pretty
when I
crazy.
should be. Yeah, it was weird. But the thought being, right, like as quarterback, you have more time to learn the system and develop and all that. So that was really interesting. You get there in the winter, right? And it's like, dude, I know two people, and they're the two people that like also came in early. One was another quarterback. And so that
Yep,
was weird immediately, right? Just inherently.
exactly.
So kind of just fought through that. Seattle in the winter, kind of rough too, missed home a lot. Uh, Learned how to, be a college athlete, and like the workouts and all that stuff, like was got into the swing of things there, I think, which was really helpful, right? Like it's why you do it.
Yeah,
Start to learn the system a little earlier. I ended up redshirting, so I don't really know that the whole knowledge of the
getting
system thing early really mattered. But kind of a rough first semester of college, I guess you could say. First two quarters, just being young, being away from home, and really not knowing a ton of people.
yep,
But then first full year, like all the other athletes coming in the summer, like all the sports, you all get to hang out. It's like the
yeah,
freshman
yeah,
class of
yeah.
athletes, and we at that point, like I was really close with a bunch of guys that were freshmen on the team too, and we had a blast.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Would you recommend to like other quarterbacks doing what you did with like the going early, graduating earlier?
Yeah, I think it's a tough thing to answer without more information.
Yeah, maybe a
I think it's
situation.
situational,
Yeah,
yeah, which it seems like a cop out answer, but like I don't know. I think if you really trust that the staff, what they're telling you about like the reasons for doing that make a ton of sense to you, and it's something you're excited about, and you want to get there early and do it that way, then I don't think there's any harm in doing it. You just got to understand, the pros and cons, if you will, like what you're missing out on. Like I missed out on a lot of the really cool senior year, second semester stuff in high school. Like would I go back and change what I did? I don't know. I don't really not one to live in like the world of regret or like
what
looking back
if?
and changing to yeah, it doesn't I love where I'm at right now, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, like some sacrifices were made there, right? Like definitely a different path. So I think it's just one of those things you gotta weigh it with the information you have and like make the best decision you can at the time.
I like that. I like that a lot. So make up the decision to go from UW. enter transfer portal,
Hmm.
go to UCLA, originally as a QB. What ultimately led you to go to UCLA?
Yeah, dude. Like hearing the story back, right? Like committed to Oregon, transferred to UW, or fit my commitment to UW, and then transferred to UCLA. Like I never pictured myself being someone that would do that. Like I probably judged people that did stuff like that, right? Like I wanted to commit to someone and like hold true on my commitment. But that's kind of the way the cookie crumbled. I just felt like UW was bringing in guys that they wanted to take the reins, which was fine, and I just it didn't seem like that was going to be me or that was going to be a good fit, even like offensively, scheme wise, with how I played and what they thought of me, and just felt really led, dude. Like I'm a religious guy, I'm a Christian, like that's really important to me. Not to bring that into this, but that's really my answer.
No,
Is
no,
like felt really
exactly.
led through a
Yeah.
lot of prayer and whatever. Just like, dude, it's time to go.
Yep.
So made the decision, just put my name in the portal, and that wasn't like I had no idea what was going to come of that. It was like the very, very beginning of transfer portal. Like the portal was a thing, but rules weren't really. Like it was kind of just a weird time.
Yep.
So you throw your name in this portal. Like I remember, I literally walked down to the lady. You have to like tell, like, hey, can you
Yeah.
put my name like literally in this portal? And that was it. And then I was just sitting on my couch, like hoping I'd get some calls. So it was a really weird process. That was kind of the reasoning. And then, yeah, you just sit around. I reached back out to the colleges that, showed interest the first time that I was interested in. But, not everyone has scholarships left for a guy on year two and all that stuff. So ultimately, UCLA called and meshed really well with Chip Kelly and really liked the stuff they were saying and what they had going down there and decided to go down there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get to UCLA and DTR is announced a QB as the starter. Um, you're asked to play kind of a utility guy, if you will, special teams with a little bit of receiver, a little bit of running back. Was that hard for you to transition from being a QB, like we talked about, basically your whole life, to kind of more of this? I'm playing pretty much everywhere now.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, I think there's like the physical and literal transition, right, of like learning to play other position, but then there's like the emotional component of that just was really hard,
Yeah,
candidly, right? Like to your point, I played that position my whole life. All of my, hopes and dreams and visions of grandeur were like playing quarterback. And so yeah, to like kind of try to fill another role was just it was hard. It like that was definitely one of those moments where like, you tear stuff down to the studs to rebuild it, if you will.
yeah,
Um, but obviously I think some really good stuff came of that. And I'm grateful for it ultimately, definitely not the story I would have written, but I think it worked out all right.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, like it's not how you make the finish line; it's when you make the finish line, right? Like it's all about that. Was that ultimately your decision to do that, or coach's decision, or mutual decision? How did that end up working with the changing of positions?
Yeah, so Dorian, to your point, like Dorian was the guy. Dorian was really the guy when I came in, right? Like the heir apparent, if you will. And I knew that. But yeah, ultimately it just got to a point where I was like, dude, I want to contribute somehow. And they saw me being able to fill at the time a receiver role, play like outside receiver, XZ, and special teams. And so that's the direction that it kind of went. And so I just took it in stride and was like, all right, like, let's see if we can make this work. I believe I'm a, big, fast enough athlete to like figure it out, which took a lot longer than I had
Yeah.
anticipated. But yeah, that's kind of how that went. It was interesting.
So did it take a lot of restructuring? Like, were you watching a lot of film? Like, what was it like to just learn a different position in terms of like, uh, learning it? Like, was it harder than you imagined? Like, did you think it was gonna be an easy transition because, oh, I've been the QB, like I know what this guy needs to do. Like you're that general, like you have to know where everyone is.
Totally. Like I'll give you my whole kind of UCLA positional experience. Because I was in a lot of different rooms there. To briefly answer that question, like, yeah, I think there were parts of me that thought like, dude, I know how to do this. I know what this guy does on every play already, right? And how he's
Yep.
supposed to run the route and what step and what he's looking for.
Exactly.
Um, but dude, total perspective shift when you're standing out there on the numbers, right, compared to behind the center. Like quite literally, right? Like you're looking at the defense from a different perspective,
Yep.
and the things you're looking for are different. And it was like, could I run fast and catch the ball? Yes, but like the nuance of the position at receiver, and then really ultimately like at running back, and then all the special team stuff, like that was what took a lot of time to learn, and was the stuff that I like at the time I didn't know that I didn't know. Right? It's like, dude, there's so much nuance
Yeah.
and technique to receiver, obviously. Running back, which is what I played my last 2 years there, I was in the running back room, is the same way, right? Like even being behind this, like in a similar spot physically to the quarterback, like the things you're looking at are very different, right? You're reading the Mike linebacker in a very different way. You're looking for blitzes, for pressure and pickups. You're making, you know, front reads for where you're gonna hit the hole on inside zone and stuff like that. Like very different things you're looking for, and like different nuanced skills that are required. And so yeah, at each kind of positional change, you that was just kind of trying to play catch up to pick up those little skills and nuances as quick as I could, so that I could play and be serviceable. And ultimately, like special teams was the thing that really, you know, got my foot in the door and let me stay there. Even at
Yep.
UCLA, led like I could contribute right away there. You know,
Yep.
there's not as much scheme and nuance maybe, um, and I knew that. Like I knew that that was going to kind of be the way that I got on the field to start, regardless of what position they had me at. And then from there, I could like work on the other stuff in order to like steal some snaps here or there at a position on offense.
Definitely. Was there something that you learned as a QB that you think, like, helped you make that transition any easier?
Absolutely. I mean, like obviously, the quarterback, you said it earlier, right? Like you have full knowledge of the offense to a degree. Like you know on a pass play, like what the scheme is, what you're trying to accomplish, like what the progression is, the timing. Like
Yep.
you might know actually more sometimes about that stuff than like one singular receiver does on any given play. Same it, for running back or any position, right?
Exactly.
Like
Oh, they're
you
blitzing
know
or
holistically, right? Like
yep.
what really what you're trying to accomplish in any given play. And that's something
Mhm.
that like even my time at UCLA at quarterback like
Mhm.
really helped me with, like
Yep.
just offensive knowledge. So not just like, hey, you're reading 1, 2, 3, 4, but like, hey, like this part of the concept is for this type of defense, and you read it this way if you see that coverage. If not, we have this answer, right? And like
Yeah.
seeing it that way. So that stuff helped a ton. It was a
Yeah.
really good foundation, I think, to that really just allowed me to focus on those little like skills and nuance of the positions, because I didn't have to like go relearn the offense. I knew exactly what my steps were supposed to be and what the route was supposed to look like.
Yep. Foundation was there. It was just more so the mechanics and whatsoever of wide receiver, running
Totally.
back, special
Which
teams,
is
whatever.
kind of backwards, right? Like
Yeah.
use quarterback as an example. Like it'd be like if you knew, you know, where the ball was supposed to go every play, but like you didn't really know how to throw yet. Kind of a
Exactly.
weird
Yeah, it's
thing.
weird.
Like
Yep.
so you had to learn how to throw. But I think that helped me a ton, obviously, because it's like, well, I already know what the other stuff is supposed to look like.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice in a way, but it's also like you said, it's backwards. So, while you were at UCLA, did like being an NFL player ever come to mind? Like, was that a goal? I know you talked about earlier being a mechanical engineer. Like, had your thought process changed a little bit at some point where you're like, you know what, maybe I will make a run at this NFL thing?
Yeah, bro. So I kind of always saw football as like, dude, if it works out, that would be awesome. You
Yeah,
know, like I would love to play in the NFL. Obviously, who wouldn't? I'm gonna try really hard at football, and whatever happens, happens. I'm still gonna try to get a degree and all these other things and set myself up for success. But really, what happened was I don't even remember what year it was. It was 2021, whatever season that was for me. I don't even know.
yeah.
But I broke my foot
Hmm.
and had to get surgery on it, and it took me out for a while. Sucky injury, and like as I was coming back the following season, broke it again, like worse.
Oh God.
And so I missed a ton of time because of that. Amidst all that like positional change stuff and trying to figure all that out, like that was going on. So I really couldn't like the stuff we just talked about, like the technique and the nuance, like I couldn't do it. I was on a knee scooter and on crutches. So
Yeah.
it's really made me question why I was doing what I was doing. Like, did I really want the football thing? Like, should I, back to like my belief system, right? Like being a Christian, like, dude, is this what God has for me? Like, is he telling me I'm not supposed to play football? Like, what the heck is going on here? Like, this is not supposed to happen. Like,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
just
Yeah.
not just like I didn't want this to happen. Like, the foot wasn't supposed to break again. The doctor was like, dude, what the heck is going on? Like, I don't know, right?
Yep.
Um, and so to answer your question, long-winded, but like there was a moment in there coming back from the second break where I was like, okay, like I want this. Like I want to
Yeah.
play in the NFL. I'm gonna go play in the NFL. I'm gonna figure out how to do that. And like no more riding the fence of, oh, if it goes well, that'll be cool. Like, no, I am not holding back. Like, I don't want any regrets. I'm giving this everything I have, and we're gonna see how far it takes me. Knowing that, I literally do with my foot, like they're like, yeah, you might not be able to like really come back from this. Like you might, some guys don't play again. And so I knew even that could kind of be a possibility, but I was like, I don't want to live in a world of regret where I'm like, dude, if I only could have given that a little more, or cared a little more, you know, not let myself be what I could have been. So there was a moment where I made the decision that like I was going to
This
try to
is
do
it.
everything I could to make it
Yeah.
happen.
That's awesome. I mean, a lot of guys, like you said, in your shoes probably would have listened to the doctors and been like, you know what? My time's done. Like, I'll go get a degree or I'll go do this. But I think it's cool that you let the test of resilience kind of empower you to go to that next level and train even harder to get to that next level. Once you graduated college, obviously draft process. What did that look like for you? Were you, yeah, talk about your draft process.
It was kind of an interesting one because of, I guess the weird story, I think guys that are big deals, right, have agents that want to represent them, and they tell them where to go and what to do and what we're looking for, and you kind of just get to listen to them. My senior season ended, and I was like, well, now what? Like I'm done. I want to play in the NFL. I might have a shot to do that, but I mean, it'd be like if someone told you right now, like, hey man, like you got to train for the combine the next year in the draft. You're like, I don't know where to start for that, right? Like,
Exactly.
what is
Yeah.
that even? And so I just, once again, like started trying to ask really good questions, like hit up everybody I knew that, was friends with an agent or my buddies that had agents in the past or whatever. And was just like,
Yep.
hey, I have like, I had some pretty decent special teams tape at that point, like decent body of work there. My senior year, like that was the goal, right? Like on my vision board was like lead the freaking nation in special teams tackles because like I knew that that was something that was actually semi attainable and like would be a good thing for pro teams to see because I knew I
Yep.
wasn't going to get a bunch of snaps at running back. And so that's what I did. I almost accomplished that goal, not quite, but like
Yeah. That's
was
awesome.
up there. And so then it was just like, okay, who can I talk to about this? Basically ended up getting connected, like started training, right?
Yep.
And then got connected with like a friend of a friend whose buddy was an agent. And they were like, dude, like ask him any questions. Like he's a good dude. He'll help. And he did. And it was kind of just that for a little bit. Like, okay, make sure you're doing this. You should do this, right? Like there was a little showcase game that I ended up going to that he's like, oh no, like I got invited to it. And I had literally thought it was like
Scam
a
or
scam.
something.
Yeah, totally. It was like some kid in Texas like, haha, like
Yep.
nice
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
It was a really, really small little showcase thing, but I ended up going to it and it was great.
Yep.
So that dude ended up being like, dude, I'll take you on as a client. Like, you're a good dude. Like, I'm not going to pay for your training. Like, like agents usually, right? Like, you're a big deal. Like,
Yep.
they pay for your training and your housing and whatever, all the way up to the draft. And then they'll, take
Yep.
their cut of your contract. He's like, I'm not going to pay for anything. Like, that doesn't really make sense
Yep.
financially and whatever. And I was like, dude, I totally get it. I'm not asking you to. I just need someone to represent me and help me out. And so that's how it went. Went to a little showcase game, got connected with the dude. Like I was still living in my UCLA apartment. Got connected with the dude. like in Southern California, like in Orange County, that was doing training. Ended up like living with my grandparents and training down there and all the way up until draft stuff. Did pro day, didn't get invited to the combine or any of that stuff. So just did UCLA's pro day and hoped for the best. Really,
Yeah.
that was
Did you
it.
did you have a good pro day? Like, do you think it was a good showing?
Yeah, man. Like I think I had really high expectations for myself.
Yep.
Um, I had put on. I don't know how relevant this is, but it's part of the story. Like
Yeah.
when I went from receiver to ultimately running back, there was a stint in there where one, I got hurt,
Yep.
um, and two, like I kind of wanted to play tight end,
Yeah.
um, and that wasn't something I was just gonna be like, hey, like I want to play tight end now, right? Like I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I was also 200 pounds playing receiver, like
Yep.
skinny and fast.
Yep.
So when I was coming back from breaking my foot, I just put on a ton of weight.
Yep.
Literally came back after one off season was like 236. And so I kind of like was finding out how to carry that weight those last couple of years. And so like combine or pro day, I was like, dude, I'm 230 something now. Like I have no idea what any of my numbers are actually going to look like. Like I
Yeah.
did all the
Yeah.
training and whatever, and
Yeah.
you kind of do some preliminary
Yeah.
testing. Like, dude, this is all new weight. Like, I don't know.
We'll see how it goes.
So I had high expectations that I candidly like didn't hit in my head.
Yep.
I think my 40 was solid, but like it's all like your buddy's hand time. They don't really tell you what you ran, or at least they didn't really at our pro day, and then they added some time to make it like combine time. So
Yeah, I was
Lord
gonna ask
knows.
you if you remember your 40 time.
So I'm a little salty about it because they added a tenth of my time to make it more official. So they had me at like 4.58 to 4.62.
Yep.
But that's where the tenth added. So I think I ran like 4.48, 4.52
There you go.
hand time. But
I mean, that's good if you're a tight end. That's really good for a
that
tight
I would
end.
have been super happy with.
Yeah,
4.62, I'm
that's like
not
Evan
at
Ingram
all,
numbers.
but I know. Well, and I was, for a tight end, like 6'4" flat and 230, like that's not big, right? So like I had
Yep.
to be fast.
Yep.
But I don't know. It was good enough, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then draft happens. Obviously, you don't get drafted. That sounded weird and bad, and I didn't mean it in that way. I hope you know. But you don't get drafted. What did that look like afterwards? Because obviously, you're like an undrafted free agent. Our team's reaching out to you. What did that process look like?
Yeah. So yeah, I knew going in, I was like, dude, there's basically no chance I get drafted. If we
Yep.
can kind of finesse, sneak into the seventh round, like great, total icing on the cake. That whole process, you're talking like teams call you, scouts
Yep.
call you, coaches call you, they take you through. And I sat on Zooms on this iPad, and they were like, dude, I'm gonna install 40 plays from our offense. Get out a piece of paper, you write them all down, and then they like, all right, put that away. Like, what do you have on this? Like they do like all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And so like my point being, you talk to all the coaches, so I knew that the Commanders had some interest. I knew that the Chargers too were kind of like pretty interested.
Yep.
So we're like, dude, if we can sneak into the seventh with either of those two or whoever else comes along, great. Um, but really, going into the sixth round, we knew like if that didn't happen, like we're just gonna sign with the Commanders. It felt like the best fit. They had brought me out on a visit. I really liked them.
Yep.
Um, and so basically the thought was like, dude, I'm just gonna tell them I'm signing with them in the sixth round, as an undrafted free agent.
Yep.
And if someone drafts me, like that trumps the me like my undrafted
Yeah. Yeah.
signing anyways. So like they still would have taken me in the seventh, but like if nothing happened by the end of the draft, then like I was going to the Commanders. So that's what we did. So I didn't. There was actually no time between like the end of the draft and when I signed or was talking to anybody. Like
Yep.
draft ended, I already was signed.
That's cool. I didn't even know that. See, this is the stuff they don't tell you. Like nobody explains this, right? So that's cool that you can even do. I have no idea. And
I
I'm
didn't either, dude.
I mean,
My yeah.
I'm a good. I feel like I know football knowledge pretty well, but that's yeah, did not know that.
Yeah, my agent, he's like, dude, yeah, we can do this technically, and like if the Chargers draft you, like
Yeah.
then they drafted you, like then great. But otherwise, like, we're just gonna tell
Yeah.
them we're going here, and like,
Yep.
oh, okay, sounds good to me, man. I don't know.
What about the Commanders did you like about them, like, in terms of fit?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I had like freaking every team knocking on my door wanting to sign me, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I did really like the Commanders. And that's dude, they're like they brought me out for the visit, and it was really clear to me like what they were trying to do and their culture, and I was just like, dude, these guys are awesome. Like
Yeah.
AP, the GM, phenomenal human,
Yep.
UCLA guy, had shown some interest in me before, and that was obviously meant a lot to me at the time.
Yep.
But had just been a cool dude, and had been in contact, and stood on his word. And DQ is the same way. All the people that I met in that building were awesome. Kind of a serendipitous full circle moment with Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh,
He
yeah.
gave me my first college offer at
That's
Texas
super
Tech,
cool.
my
Yeah.
whatever year it was in high school, and he's my OC now. So it was just a great group of dudes. Got to meet with my now tight end coach, David Rye. Like, just totally clicked with him, loved him. So it was kind of a no brainer. Like, it just felt right.
Yeah. That tight end room right now is it's good, man. It's really good. So, and we'll get into that in just a second, but
Yeah, sure.
yeah, I agree. I mean, like the culture there. I don't know how I didn't see it coming. It's great, and we saw it with the success your team had this year. So talk about that first season. Like I said, just absolute fantastic year for Commanders. Proves a lot of doubters wrong. How fun was it to be on one of the best teams in the league?
So fun.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, so fun. I mean that. Like, talking to a bunch of the vets, you said it. We got a bunch of great dudes in my room on the team, guys that have been around the block.
Yep.
And everyone's like, bro, this place is different. Like, this is the most fun I've had playing football in years, and that's
Yep.
coming from guys that have played in the NFL.
Yep.
So yeah, dude, like, such a blast. Like, even if we didn't go as far as we did, right? Like, it would
Yep.
have been a tremendous, phenomenal experience. Um, so like the fact that we did really well wasn't a surprise to us, but was just even made it even cooler.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What would you say was the, like, biggest jump from college football to NFL?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is like nobody's holding your hand anymore. And I don't think that's a bad thing either. Like, for me personally, I've actually really enjoyed it to a degree. Like, as arduous as, morning college workouts can be, and you know, like the unrelenting conditioning stuff, and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
all of the stuff that you do, right?
Yep.
To kind of feels like prove a point sometimes, even maybe. It's just non-existent.
Yep.
Um, you're there to do your job really well. And so as long as you're doing your job well, like, you get to do that how you want to do it. There's obviously you got a ton at your disposal if you want it, but it's on you for a lot of it to set up your routine, to set up how you want to eat and when you want to do this and that. And like, for me, it's great because I kind of take pride in that stuff. I feel
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
it's part of the reason I kind of finesse my way in here is because I learned how to do all the little things really well. And so I get full autonomy kind of over how I want to do that and treat my body and do you know, my pre-practice, my post-practice, my workouts, all that stuff. So I really enjoy it.
You say you ask a lot of questions. Was there somebody you felt like you went to ask questions about that routine you were talking about?
100%. Immediately just went to the vets that I knew do it better than anyone else, right? You mentioned how sweet our tight end room is. Totally agree. Zach Ertz has been so helpful.
Yep.
And he's been such a good dude about it. Like, he doesn't owe that to me or anyone, right? Like, he's
Exactly.
done his deal and can do that however he wants. But, um, dude, he's been so helpful. Like, I could text him right now about something and he'd get back to me like quick on trying to help me out. Like, he's been such a huge help on anything from like, dude, how do you eat, before practice? Like, what do you like to eat? To like, hey, on this route versus this coverage, what are you thinking, and how do your feet look? And
Yeah,
he's got
exactly. Yeah.
great answers for everything because he's
Yep.
done it at such a high level for so long. But dude, we got a bunch of guys like that. Like we had so many guys on the team that like I felt like not only did I know had good answers to the questions, but like I felt comfortable asking those questions and they were helpful. So it's awesome.
And I think that's team culture too, right? Like you talked about the culture there too. Like it shouldn't be, the vets not wanting to talk to the younger guys maybe because they're like scared they're gonna take their position or whatever, right? Like it should be a culture of like, this is how you do this, this is what I'm thinking, like kind of what you were talking about. So I think that's what makes winning teams.
I'd like to think so. I don't have a frame of reference other than this team, obviously, at the,
Yep.
highest level. So I can't compare it. But yeah, dude, like I think it speaks volumes about like where those guys' heads are at,
Yep.
and what their goal is. It's a lot more than just serving themselves. It's about like helping the team out and being good people, and
Yep.
it's cool stuff.
Things you don't see on the TV.
No
What would
doubt.
you say like your week typical game week looks like?
So, I mean, stuff's pretty structured from the standpoint of, you come in on Monday and put the game to bed and kind of install some stuff, whatever's ready.
Yep.
Tuesday is like league wide off day. Like it's players off. You'll come in and do whatever for your body, get some, meetings in with the boys, like make sure you know what's up because once again, like you're professional, like that stuff's on you.
Yep.
Um, so for me, like this past year it was special teams that kind of got me on the team, probably. Not probably, like that was the reason I
Yeah,
for sure was on the
yeah,
team this year was to play special teams. Um, and so like a lot of that the Monday and the Tuesday was spent like breaking down what I did and like what this team does on special teams. Because I
yep,
knew that was where I was going to hang my hat. And then you get into the flow of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like it's all structured out with like first, second downs, third, red zone, stuff like that, and kind of get back into the flow of things. And like those 3 days are like similar schedule wise for me, at least like with like when I get to the facility and when I'm leaving, kind of a
yep,
thing. And then Saturday's kind of like a final run through,
yep.
and then you're off.
What was your favorite stadium you went to this year? Away stadium.
Good question. I don't know, man. It was pretty surreal to just be in
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
them.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they're places you watched pro games your whole life. It's freaking so cool to
yeah,
stand in them. I really enjoyed the domes this year for some reason. I haven't played in a lot of domes, and so to like
yep,
play in New Orleans and play in Detroit, like there's just something about that. I don't know if they were my favorite stadiums, but like they stick out as like really cool
yeah.
memories. Obviously, Detroit
They're
was
unique. Yeah,
a pretty sweet game too. And so like super rowdy, sick atmosphere.
yep,
I don't know. Those stuck out to me. I don't know if I had a favorite one, honestly.
yeah. No, I can imagine being on the field even. That yeah, that'd be cool. What do you think is the biggest misconception about NFL players?
That's an interesting question. Biggest misconception. Are we talking like I'm thinking about this like if I'm a high school kid thinking about playing in the NFL and NFL players, I'm thinking of it from that perspective, not just like some old lady on the couch.
Yeah, I think yeah. Let's go from that perspective.
Because I have an answer for that one at least.
Yep,
I think he said like we got it figured out. Don't get me wrong. There are some guys that are pretty freaking dialed.
yep,
Zach being one of them. Like that guy's got knows exactly what he's doing all the time.
yep,
But at least for me, hopefully this makes sense. I always thought like, dude, if I ever make it to the NFL, like X, Y, and Z need to happen. I'll feel like this. I'll be doing stuff like this,
yep,
right? Like I'll be super dialed on my routes or my whatever position I'm playing, right? I didn't even really have one of those in college. And that wasn't ever the case, right? Like I made a 53 like playing special teams and like showing that I maybe could play tight end. And like I didn't know that that was something that really happened. And like I always thought that guys, it's like polished is a good word, right? Like you think guys are super
yep.
polished and have it all figured out and know exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. And it's like, dude, even at this level, like we're just dudes playing football, like really truly. And a lot of this, especially young
Yeah,
guys, I think are still trying to figure all that stuff out,
yeah,
like what works for me, what doesn't, like, and why. I think that's been like the refreshing thing too, honestly. And, like it's really intimidating at
Yep.
first, and you're like talking to people who you respect and whatever, and you're like, oh, bro, like I feel like I could have played high school ball with you, and like this would feel the same. Like it's not like some
Yeah.
big, you know, bigger
Hierarchy.
than life, yeah, overly serious thing. And once again, maybe that's a product of the team that I'm on and the people I'm around, and it's different other places. I don't know, but for me, like I don't know, that was a misconception that maybe I had. I was like, dude, you got to be really polished, be on your stuff, like know exactly what you're supposed to be doing and when you're doing it. It's like, no, dude, as long as you're
Yeah.
trying and learning and figuring it out and like have the right attitude and posture about it, like you're in a good spot.
How nervous were you about the 53-man roster and making that cut?
Um,
Like, were you confident? Were you like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make
no,
it," or no?
no, no. But I also wasn't nervous. Something I'll touch on real quick that I learned in college was kind of how to frame my mindset around stuff. I had a
Yep.
dude in college, his name's Seth Mikowski, who does
Yep.
like mindset training. He
Yep.
calls it like elite mindset training and decision making.
Yep.
And he uses chess as like a tool to do that. Basically tell you like prescriptionary, almost like how you make decisions and probably why, right? It's like literally put a game of chess with the guy. And it's like, oh, like you overthink way too much, dude. Like you overanalyze. You have to make the perfect move, or you're not going to make a move. And like that doesn't
Yep.
work in the game of football. Like you
No, it
can't,
doesn't.
let alone in life. Like
Yeah.
the net value of not making a decision isn't zero. It's negative, right? Like
Exactly.
you
Yep.
gotta move forward. And so, long story short, like that dude really changed my perspective on a lot of stuff. Kind of around that same time with my foot, I was just trying to
Yep.
ask a lot of good questions to people that I knew had good answers.
Yep.
Um, the reason I tell you that is um, initially, like the goal, right, was make a 53-man roster, make the
Yep.
53. And after like thinking and talking and setting a lot of goals and plans about how to go about that, like I realized like that's not something that's in my control.
Yeah.
So it was a bad goal.
Yep.
Like it's a cool aspirational thing. Like obviously that was the goal and
Yep.
something I wanted to do, but I realized that like to put all this work in and make these plans and be so regimented and anal about how I go about it. Um, if they said like, "Hey, look, man, like you're a great player, but we don't have room for you right now," like that doesn't mean that everything I did was a
Was for
failure and
nothing.
I shouldn't have
Yeah.
done it. Like so after kind of that shift of mindset, I was like, okay, I'm not nervous about making the 53. I'm nervous about performing to the best of my ability and doing what I set out to do.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
candidly, that wasn't like the 53 wasn't going to determine whether or not I felt like I did that.
I
And so
really
that was
like
kind of a
that.
freeing thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good mindset to have, and I think, like, not only in football, that's a great mindset to have in life too, right? Like, it's not always about, making, getting a like, we can apply this to life, getting a promotion or whatever you wanna feel, right? Like, it's that process, it's that work you put in, the hard work, like, knowing that you gave it your all, and every day you were literally doing everything you can, so I like,
100%.
similar mindset, like, control what you can control. I can control
Amen, dude.
myself, effort,
That's it.
discipline, everything, but I can't ultimately control somebody else's decision, so
Yeah. To quote John Wooden, like I'll paraphrase it, like his definition of success is like the self satisfaction and knowing that basically like you did everything you could to accomplish what you set out to do. I think
yeah,
that's kind of it.
that's awesome. That's really awesome. Who would you say right now is your biggest NFL mentor? Is it Zach Ertz or is it somebody else?
Yeah, it's Zach for sure. The guy's just a wealth of knowledge and is like wants to help, which is really cool, special.
That's awesome. I mean, he's one of the best tight ends in the league right now and has been for a long time, so not a bad mentor.
Yeah, no, it's I couldn't ask for a better dude to have head in that room and
Yep,
to try to follow in his footsteps for sure.
yep, yep. What is your favorite memory in the NFL? And then what is your favorite NFL and or favorite memory in football in general?
NFL, I'll answer first. For me, like it'd be easy to say the Hail Mary this year because I was super sick.
Yeah.
Um, unfortunately, I was on IR at that point, so I didn't play in that game. So that was kind of a bummer. So for me personally, it was Detroit.
Yep.
Um, it was my first game back from
Yep.
IR, and I had to play in a playoff game, which was super sick. So,
That is super
and
sick.
like I said, like the atmosphere there, like was electric.
Yep.
So fun to play in, like such a surreal moment, you know. Um, so to just be out there running around I had so much fun.
That's awesome.
And then in football in general, was
Shocked
that
the
the next
world
sport?
too.
Yeah, I know, bro.
No one expected it.
Everyone in
But,
our room did, in our building.
oh, I know. I know. Hey, I'm not down you guys anymore.
No, I
Trust
know.
me.
I know. It's awesome.
in
And then
in
did you ask
football.
favorite memory in football,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ever?
Yep.
I mean, that'd be a good answer for that one too so far, honestly. But I feel like I gotta throw it back. Like I'm trying to think of a good high school game because some of my fondest football memories are high school. I think it's
Yep.
just kind of like still in my mind the most pure version of the sport. Like
Yeah.
there's not
I hear you.
at some point there's pressure and whatever to do well and move on, right? But like
Yep.
to start it off, it's not, right? It's just you want to have fun with your boys and you know lay it all out there. Like some games that come to mind from high school, like Camus.
Yeah, that game
Um,
was crazy.
I didn't even
Right
beat
up the
them, but
street from
like
me.
it was freaking fun.
Yeah.
What's the school in Northern California that we played? I'm totally
Oh,
blanking.
oh my gosh. I know exact
Folsom.
Folsom. There you go. Yep.
Folsom trip was super fun too. Same deal. We didn't even beat the team, but like I think that's might be the point, right? Like, like we knew it was going to be a super gnarly game, hard fought, right? And it totally was. But I feel like we like held our own, and it was just one of those moments. Like we still walked off the field with our heads held high,
Exactly.
and I was
Yep.
just stoked to be with with my guys, and that trip was so cool. We went to California, from
Yep.
Idaho, like. So
Yep.
I think that's probably the one, honestly. That was just a blast.
Definitely. Definitely. What advice do you have for aspiring football players, NFL players?
Whew. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I could say, but I do think, as you've learned from probably the past 40 whatever minutes of talking, I think asking good questions is really important.
Yep.
Um, it's something that it's like a skill I wanted to acquire.
Yep.
Honestly, like early on in college, I like admired people. I was like, dude, that's such a good question. Like, I love
Yep.
that you had the confidence and the whatever to like ask it, and that you weren't pretending like you knew everything or had your stuff together, because I was that person for most of my life. It was
Yeah.
like I don't want to ask it because I want to act like I know what's going on, but then you don't learn as much.
Exactly. Yep.
So I think seek really good counsel and ask good questions. Learn to ask really good questions. Not a lot of questions, right? But like good ones that are like the answers are going to be really informative and actually
Help you.
like add value, and
Yep.
dictate whether or not you feel like something is valuable for you or not.
I like that. All right. Well, let's end here with a little fun game we like to do here. It's called rapid fire questions. I do this on my interviews.
All
So
right.
it's just random questions. Usually should be quick, but there's no timer rules or anything like that. So we'll start off
Shoot.
first. What is your go-to pregame song if you had to pick one?
Uh, Firm Foundation. It's a worship song.
Okay.
It's my
I like
go-to.
it. I like it.
hmm
Pregame snack.
Ooh, I'm a big caffeine guy, so I gotta get like a C4 or some caffeine in, and then
Nice.
like some carbs. So whether that's like a carb pack or like some fruit snacks or a freaking what are they called, Rice Krispie treat or something like that.
Okay. Okay. I like it.
Yep.
I like it. What's your favorite cleat?
Oh, do I have them? These are what I'm wearing right now. They're attached to my backpack, so forgive me.
Okay.
I have no idea what they're called. They're beat to you know what, but I like really wide cleats, but they're also like skill cleats, and it's
Yep.
kind of hard to find. So whatever those are work well for me.
Okay. Okay. Who was your favorite football player growing up?
Drew Brees.
Ooh, I
Drew
like
Brees and
that.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Drew Brees kind of because of my dad. My dad was he's 5'10", could slang it, but it was short, and so that was always his like guy growing up, or
Yep.
not maybe growing up, but like that was always his favorite guy when I was growing up.
Yep.
So it kind of just became mine, one of them, and then dude Rogers has always just been able to freaking spin it. So
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
those two always.
Yep. If you weren't playing on the Commanders, who would you cheer for?
I don't know. I never really had an NFL team growing up because we don't have anyone in Idaho, and everyone was
Yeah.
kind of like Seahawks, and I'm like, okay, sure. Um, but when people ask me like what my team was growing up, my answer is always the Falcons.
Okay.
My dad had like an old buddy that played there, like kind of special teams, a little bit of receiver. So my first NFL game was a Falcons game.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been my default answer.
Okay. Okay. Did you guys play the Falcons last year?
Yeah, we
So you
did.
went to Mercedes Benz. You had to think about it.
Dude, yeah. When did we? Holy crap! I don't know, man. I'm a bad guy to ask that stuff.
um,
You have to look it
favorite
up.
favorite color or one? Are you a Gatorade guy?
Like, kind of not really.
Okay.
Blue, if I'm gonna drink it.
Okay. I was
If you
gonna
were
ask
asking
you what your
favorite
favorite
color,
flavor. Yeah.
I'll go blue or purple. But yeah, I don't. I'm kind of just like a water and electrolytes guy, if I can choose.
Okay. If you didn't go professional in football, what sport do you think you'd have the best chance of going professional in?
Oh, geez, man. I don't know because I played basketball, but like, there's
I
no
know.
shot I was gonna be a hooper. I don't know. I played lacrosse in like middle school. I feel like if I would have like put everything in that and kept that up, maybe I could play in the MLL.
A little PLL.
It'd be sick, dude.
Yeah. It's growing. I feel like I'm hearing more and more about it. So
I know. It was such a fun sport too. I feel like it should be bigger.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, man. Well, again, thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure. Love hearing
My
about your
pleasure, bro.
journey. I mean, whenever we talk or whenever we used to talk, I mean, never talked like this. So it's fun to get you on this kind of get to know you on this kind of level and catch up a little bit. So
I'm glad, man. Yeah, thank you for having me. That was awesome.
yes, thank you. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to stay logical and rant that nonsense.